Hi everybody! It's so good to see you. We're going to learn about Henri Matisse today, and we're going to talk about him and his friendship with Picasso. We're going to talk about abstract art and where it came from and how it evolved into what we know today. And we're also going to be doing a study of oranges, and our project will look something like this. This is for the calendar, so if you send some photos with your student's name, that would be appreciated. Make sure that you have a piece of paper. Make sure that you have a Sharpie, one of those thicker Sharpies, and also your oil pastels. That's what we're going to need today. I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to the artist that we're going to learn about today. And Matisse is interesting because a lot of people get his artwork confused with Picasso, but Matisse came before Picasso, and Picasso kind of used him as a inspiration for his art. So here is a picture of Matisse, Henri Matisse, and behind him is one of his collages. It is a paper collage. That's what he did when he was older, when he couldn't get out of bed and paint with oils. He started using paper. We're not doing paper today, but that's just an example of what his artwork looks like. Alright, here are some more examples of Matisse artwork. If you look to your right with the lady with the blue hat and the goldfish, those are some earlier paintings. And then the other paintings, he becomes more abstract. He starts using paper, simple shapes, and simple lines. If you look at that face of a woman, it is very simple compared to the lady with the blue hat. Alright, we're going to talk about harmony in red. That is the name of this, one of the names for this painting in front of us. Take a look at the wallpaper and at the tablecloth. You can see that they almost blend into each other. You can't really tell where the table starts and ends. You can't really tell where the wall ends. Everything is a very warm tone inside, and all the cool tones are outside that window. This painting was commissioned. That means that a Russian man asked Matisse to paint him this painting. However, he wanted it in blue, but Matisse did not like it in blue, and he asked for it back, and he painted it in red. This is called his red period. That means a period in his life where he would constantly use only the color red. Picasso, who came later after Matisse, also had a period where he used one color, and his was the blue period. So here are some examples of when an artist uses the same color over and over and over. So this is Picasso. And we're going to watch this quick video talking about their relationship. I'm going to post it so you guys can watch it on your own as well. Here are some more examples of his red. He always would paint red rooms. This is a painting of his art studio. And as you can see, it's pretty difficult to tell where the floor ends and the walls begin. There's always something hiding the horizon line. Here is a whole bunch of paintings and frames, and over here onto the right is just furniture in the way of that horizon line. Here are some more examples of rooms in red. Look at the wallpaper. We are going to create our own wallpaper. Take a look at those zigzags. Take a look at that floral pattern. What style do you like? He always adds either a window or a picture frame. He likes to draw fruits like oranges and lemons. And here is a close-up. And that's all I have to show you today. We're going to go ahead and get started with our lesson. I'm going to ask for you to get your pencil and put it in the air. And we're going to wave this pencil like we just don't care. Alright, we're ready. Alright. So here is what our finished project is going to look like. I want you to take a look at my wallpaper and my tablecloth. They have the same pattern. You're going to have the same pattern, but your pattern doesn't have to be swirls. It could be something else, maybe a different type of Zentangle. So I'm going to get these out of the way. We're going to get our paper. Make sure it is in portrait. What? Portrait, not landscape. I know we've been doing a lot of landscape. We are doing portrait today. We're going to write our name, and this is a warm up. If you remember last week, we really worked on using hard and soft lines. So today we're going to use a soft line right in the middle. I know that this paper is about 5 fingers to 5 fingers. So if I put my hand here, I know that the middle is roughly at this point. So after I put my 5 fingers, go ahead, put your 5 fingers. You're going to go ahead and make a mark and then draw a line. The faster you draw the line, the straighter the line will be. If you really want to use a ruler today, you can, but I did not list it as a material because Matisse did not use rulers. A lot of his lines are very organic. They are not straight. He is not an architect. An architect has to be precise. We do not have to be precise. We're going to go ahead and get 2 fingers, place that underneath our first horizon line, make a little dot, and we're going to draw our bowl. I want you to draw large bowls, okay? It is our focal point, and I want it to be at least 4 fingers, okay? Our bowl is quite large. We are doing a warm-up, so I want you to exaggerate. I want you to make a large bowl. I'm even going to put my 4 fingers, put a dot right above the horizon line, a dot right above the horizon line. Here are my dots right above the horizon line. They are 4 fingers away from each other. This is a warm-up. This is to get you ready for when we flip the paper over. Okie dokie, watching me in 3. You're using your eyes in 2. And your pencils are down in 1, watching me. I'm going to do an arch. And this arch is going to come up. And you can draw it a few times until you get it the shape you want. So go ahead, it's your turn. Draw an arch for the bowl for the oranges. Notice that my bowl is starting underneath the horizon line. The bowl sides are extending past the horizon line. And make sure your bowl is not itty bitty tiny. Make sure it's large. It's a focal point. It's about 4 fingers. After that, we are going to do a nice curved line. It has to be curved because we have to give the illusion that the bowl is rounded like a bowl. So we are going to do a curved line. Think of the crescent moon. Think of a crescent moon. I did those little dashes to kind of help me guide my pencil. If you want to do the same, you can. But if you feel confident enough, just go ahead and make that curved line to make a crescent moon. We're not drawing our line straight across. No, no, no. Curved. Okay, we're going to practice some oranges, and I want you to watch me. I'm going to go very light. Remember, we've been practicing lines that are dark and heavy and light lines. So look at how light I drew that. And then I'm going to darken the top, whatever sticks out of the bowl. Let me show you one more time. I'm going to start right here at the edge. I'm going to make a very light, loosey-goosey circle. And then I'm going to darken the edges that stick out of the bowl. I'm not going to go through the orange because this orange is behind our first orange. And you're just going to keep doing that. So I'm going to give you the A-OK. Go ahead and start making your loosey-goosey lines. Darken the top. And you're going to do a total of 4 oranges. This is for the calendar. So if you send me some photos with your name, I would appreciate it. This is a warm-up, so try going a little fast. We're not spending a lot of time on this. What we're going to do next is practicing what we want our wallpaper and tablecloth to look like. Alright, so what Matisse would do when we do our wallpaper is going to be in Sharpie, but we're going to practice what kind of patterns you want in pencil. Matisse does a lot of swirls, so I'm going to encourage you to practice swirls. See how you want to draw your swirls. There's no wrong way. Just find a pattern that works for you. Okay, swirls are one pattern you can do. Zigzags are another. That is a very Matisse sort of line. You like to add zigzags. And I'm going to encourage you to try your own pattern at the very bottom. Think of all the Zentangles we've done this year. Okay? Think of all the Zentangles. You can do arches. You can do little hash marks. You can come up with your own Zentangle. Okay? Just think of some fun Zentangles that might work for your tablecloth and wallpaper. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to go ahead. I want you to experiment. I want you to really try these swirls. See what works for you. What kind of swirls would you like to do? Can you hide some swirls behind the oranges? Can you add small and large swirls? Do you like the zigzags? Do you want to do a different sort of Zentangle? We have about 35 seconds left. 35 more seconds. You should have plenty of space on the bottom to practice. Okay, we're going to go ahead and flip the paper over. Hopefully you had a chance to use some of these Zentangles, at least these two, which are more the Matisse style, and hopefully you've practiced some of your own. Let's go ahead and flip our paper over. We're going to flip our paper over. The paper is a little dirty. Oops, that's okay. And we're going to do the same thing like we did in the warm-up. So we're going to take our 5 fingers. We're going to place them at the bottom. Here is my thumb. Here is my pinky. I'm going to make a little indication of where my horizon line should be. And we're going to draw a line all the way across. We do not need to use a lot of muscle. It's a very light line. A light line. Just like we did in the warm-up, we want the bowl to be large. It is the focal point of our art. So we're going to take 2 fingers, we're going to come to the bottom. We're going to go ahead and put a dot towards the center. Try to find the center. Sorry, my paper is so dirty. And we're going to get 4 fingers. Remember, we want our bowl large. So if you have really tiny hands, you might even want to use 5 fingers. So let's go ahead and lay that on top. We want these dots above the horizon line. We want those dots above the horizon line. Just like that. We're going to do an arch. I like to start towards the bottom and slowly start moving that line up. Very sketchy, very light. I am not using a lot of pressure. I am lightly adding lines. The walls of your bowl need to extend and go past that horizon line. Make sure it is going past the horizon line. And like we did in the warm-up, we want to make sure we have an arch. Sorry, guys. Want to make sure that it is an arched line, no straight lines, okay? We're doing an arched line, a curved line, to make it look like a crescent moon. Don't Don't worry about making your lines too dark because we will be going over it with Sharpie, and then it won't really matter if you're using dark or light lines. What matters is when you start erasing the pencil marks and it's hard to do. So that's why we're doing light lines. We're going to draw our first orange. Make sure that orange, some of it is underneath and some of it is above your curved line, above the bowl, and then darken the top. Come to the side, start an orange, let that orange overlap. We want to see some overlap. We also want to see the orange underneath the bowl, and we're going to go ahead and darken that line. We're going to do that on the right side, we do it on the left side. See how the orange is overlapping, the orange is underneath the bowl, and then we come to the top and we darken what we want to be shown. We have one more, very light as a feather. You do not have to press down hard. We are very light. And don't worry if your circles aren't perfectly round, because oranges are not perfectly round. Some of them are kind of lumpy. So that's okay. I'm going to pause there, make sure everyone has caught up. We are going to use our pinky next. So get your pinkies up in the air and get ready to do some fancy stuff. Okay, with this pinky, we need to bring that right underneath our bowl, and we're going to put a dot. So here's the bottom of my pinky, and this is where I'm going to put my dot. I'm using a pinky. Once you have that, I need you to draw a line, just like our first horizon line, all the way across. This is our table. Now the bowl is on a table. We're going to go ahead and draw our tablecloth. So I'm going to zoom out. So we added that line, we used a pinky. I'm going to come right down past the table on each side. Past the table. Maybe about 3 fingers, roughly about 3 fingers. And then we're going to add a line on the bottom. We've added our horizontal line, 2 vertical lines, and 1 last horizontal line. And we are all done with our pencil. We're going to put our pencil down and we're going to find our Sharpie. Make sure you have added your tablecloth on top of your table. We are going to trace together. Do not skip ahead. Do not skip ahead, because often when my students skip ahead, they'll accidentally draw a line all the way through the bowl in oranges. That's not what we want to do. We want to trace the bowl first. So go ahead. We're going to start together right here. We're going to start together on the side of the bowl. We're going to trace the bowl. We're going to trace the top of the bowl. And we're going to stop there and let everyone catch up. We are going to stop and skip. Stop. Okay? Stopping and skipping. So let's go ahead and start that line. We're going to start with that horizon line. We're going to stop. We got to skip and finish that line. Do not go through the bowl. Alright, we're going to start here. We're going to go all the way through this one. Are you ready? No stopping or skipping. We're just going all the way through. We have to come to each side and draw our tablecloth. We need to draw our oranges. We're also going to add a little more detail to the oranges. So make sure that you have your table outlined. Okay, make sure you have your table outlined. Do not bring that line through your bowl. The bowl is in front. The bowl is in front. Okay. We're going to start with the first orange. This orange is our first orange, the one in the center. Then you're going to move off to the side, and then finally the one in the back. We have to do it in that order because we don't want to draw any of the oranges going through. I also like to add little navels because these are navel oranges. So adding little curves gives the indication that they were picked from the tree. And I also want you to use light pressure, very light. You are not pressing down hard. You're pressing down very lightly. Right at the end towards the bottom, because oranges have a little bit of texture. They are they have like pores like we see in our skin. They're not perfectly smooth, so we're going to add little dots. I'm not pressing down hard at all. I'm just letting the pen touch the paper and lifting it up. No muscle required. Very light. And I'm kind of just focusing those dots towards the bottom. Alright, once you're done with that, it is time for the erase, or no, sorry, I'm skipping ahead. We're going to start with our Zentangle pattern, and then we will erase. Remember, whatever pattern is on the tablecloth should be on the wallpaper. You can do swirls, you can do zigzags, okay? You can do any sort of Zentangle you would like. Remember, we practiced Zentangles on the back. We practiced some Zentangles on the back. So get your ideas going. And we're going to start with the wallpaper because it's the largest one, the largest surface. Sorry, Sam, I'm going to move you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to do zigzags this time. Often his zigzags were not straight up and down. They were kind of at an angle. But if you want your zigzags straight up and down, you can. Try your best to evenly space them. Remember, just because I'm doing zigzags doesn't mean you have to. You can do the swirls. Notice, the pattern is going to continue even though the oranges are in the way. So maybe use your finger and decide where that zigzag is going to start again. Whatever you do on the wallpaper, you're going to have to put on the tablecloth. I'm going to pause there so everyone can catch up. If you are finished, your next step is to erase any of those pencil marks. So that is the next step for those of you who are finished with your Zentangle wallpaper and tablecloth. I'm encouraging you to use your own Zentangle. Maybe try using the swirl pattern. But if you like the zigzags, you can do the zigzags also. Make sure you erase all of those pencil marks because our next step is to color it in. I am going to ask you to make the walls red. I know some of you really might want to make them a different color, but we are mimicking the Harmony in Red painting, and it's red walls. He was in his red period of his time where he painted everything red, so we're going to do the same. Just like if you were going to do Picasso in his blue period. So the funny thing about Picasso and Matisse's relationship is that Matisse was older and Picasso looked up to them, but all the critics, people who wrote about art, people who talked about art, always pinned them against each other and constantly compared each other. And so they started having arguments with each other, and they were very critical. That means they were very honest about their artwork of each other, and sometimes they wouldn't say very nice things about each other's art. And they were not friends until Matisse became a lot older and he was bedridden. And before he passed away, yes, Matisse did pass away, he gave all of his paints and paintbrushes to Picasso. So some of the paintings that Picasso had painted was using Matisse's brushes and paint, which I think is very sweet and shows that towards the end of Matisse's life they became friends, and Picasso would visit him in the hospital quite often. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and we are going to make sure our oranges are orange and our walls are red. Now you don't have to make the tablecloth red, but you can if you want to make it match, but I'm letting you use a different color if you like. So with red, what I want you to do is block in the color. You're going to use the side of your oil pastel, and look how using the side of my oil pastel looks different from if I use the edge. Do you see the difference if I use the side? This is called blocking in color. So what you're going to do is you're going to color using the blocking method first. And that's going to give a very vibrant color because when you go over it, it will look very deep, a deep, dark color. We're not going to color in like this yet. You will do that a little bit later, but first you block in the color. So this is what your drawing should look like, using the side of your oil pastel. Just like this, you lay it down and you move your fingers up and down using the side, not the tip, the side. And after you block in your color, then that's when you go back in a second time and you use the side like you normally would, and now you get a much more vibrant red because you've already blocked in the color. Matisse's colors are very saturated, very bright. That's why we want to try to mimic that. I like to hold my paper down with one hand and use my other hand to color. This makes it easier. We should all be using red. I'm going to do the same thing where I block in the red. Be careful not to get the red in the bowl or on the table. Take your time. Alright, and then you go over it for a second time and get a very deep red. You can draw your tablecloth maybe different colors if you want, but make sure your walls are red. Make sure your walls are red. Make sure your oranges are orange. You can use a little bit of rusty yellow and orange together if you like. The darker color would go on the bottom and the lighter color would go on top. So my lighter color would be here on the top. And then the darker orange would be on the bottom. And you would want to mix them and go over each other. And then it's up to you what color you want to make your table, your floor, and your bowl. I would suggest maybe a cool color. Look at all the warm tones, oranges, reds, anything like a fire or lava. Now maybe you want to do the opposite, maybe green, blue, to kind of make these colors pop. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use green and blues. And maybe brown for the table. I'm going to do my bowl half green, half blue, because I can. Matisse would do that a lot with fruits. Sometimes he would only paint half of the fruit. I don't really know why he did that, but he would. And so I'm kind of mimicking the two-toned color idea that he would do, but with the bowl. The way I got that purple color is because I got a little bit of red accidentally inside the bowl. But I like that accident. It looks really interesting. Sometimes being an artist is just accepting what happens on the page. You have to be accepting, or else you're not going to like what you did. And you should always like your art because you created it, and you should like yourself. So even though that was a mistake, it was a happy mistake. Just like Bob Ross would say, happy mistake. Because it makes it more interesting. Now I have 3 colors instead of 2, and 3 colors are way better than just 2 or 1 color. And I'm going to go ahead and use the sides and color in the table brown. And then the floor is up to you, whatever color you want. You can make it 2-toned, you can make it 1-tone. That means you can use 2 colors, 1 color, whatever you would like. I think I'm going to kind of mimic whatever colors I used inside of the bowl. So I think I'm going to do some more blues. Matisse's artwork always makes me think of the cartoon Blue's Clues. I don't know if that was on purpose by the people who created Blue's Clues, but a lot of the line work and colors used are very similar to Matisse's artwork. So it kind of makes me wonder if the people who created that cartoon was inspired. Just like how Picasso was inspired by Matisse. Blue's Clues is not bluey. It is about a blue dog, though. Different kids' cartoon. Okay. Okay. And that is your finished Matisse Orange right there. Perfect. Beautiful. 2 thumbs up to everybody. You guys are amazing. Sam liked it. I like it. And you should like it. You should like your own art. Say something nice to your artwork. Maybe you say, I did an excellent job with my Zentangle. I did an excellent job with my shading. I did a really good job blocking in color. My colors are very vibrant. Say something nice. Maybe you can say how well you blended in the bowl. Maybe you like your happy little mistake. Say something nice. So that's all I have for you today. I want to appreciate you guys logging in and saying hi to me and showing me your art. Please send me some photos. I would appreciate it. So have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!